All right, guys, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for this live review of Monday Night Raw from the July 9th, 2018 edition of Raw that took place in Boston, Massachusetts. Of course, is the go home edition of Raw for this Sunday's pay per view. Extreme Rules, which I've announced how many times I will be live in attendance. This pay per view will be taking place from my hometown of Pittsburgh, PA, right at down at PPG Paints Arena. Again, I'll be there with my good friend Daniel Gaiza. And, even though this show, the next episode of Raw I thought was definitely better than last. It was not a porta potty episode of Raw. Wasn't one of the strongest, so I'd say it was more so decent. I mean, I've gone back and forth again between two grades, but I don't think I was gonna go with decent because it wasn't like that great. I thought. But, it still had its moments. I'm like, okay, this is not bad. Like, I actually can bear this. But so that's what we're going to pretty soon. I might just fly through this review again. I'll check the live chat whenever I can. But I'm tired, guys. I've had a long day. I don't want to really get into it. But I'm just doing this review, get my grade, talking about the live chat, get in a shower. Then I'm crashing because I'm tired. I've had a rough day. But again, I'm not carrying that baggage here. We're here to talk about Raw. Live chat, we got Dakota. Our grades are close. I probably gave it a B minus. The last two matches were awesome, or would have been a D. Your thoughts on Road Dogg still doing SmackDown Live, Mike? I really don't care at this point. We saw this. We saw the leaked script that he was doing stuff on Raw at one point. Who knows what WWE's up to these days? I don't even know. SmackDown will cheer you up. Hopefully it will. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so let's get ready to the show, guys. Again, I'm going to fly those. I'm beat. Again, I've had a rough day, but again, as I said, I'm not going to carry the baggage here because it's not what I want to do. This is about Raw, not my personal life. Anyways, let's get on this. We opened up the show actually a pretty good way. I thought I did like this. I mean, yes, I was comparing it to something else on Twitter, but take away from that, I still thought this was a good opening segment. We had a recap of what's been going on with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley leading up to the match that's most likely going to be event Extreme Rules on Sunday, which I would rather have it given to AJ Styles and Rusev because the WWE Championship match deserves to be the main event. We haven't had it in the main event of a pay per view at all since Fastlane. That's one out of, let me see here, Royal Rumble, no. Elimination Chamber wasn't there. Fastlane, Mania, Backlash, Money in the Bank. So 1 out of 7 pay-per-views so far, and the WWE Championship's only been in one main event. Kind of sucks. Anyways, but so that but I still think either way, Reigns and Lashley, I think will still put on a good match on Sunday. We see Rowan walking backstage and he runs into Bob. Reigns tells him to get out of his way so he can go to his ring. And Lashley suggests that he goes out there and calls him out like he's hoping. And if he does, he's not coming to talk. He's going to come to tear him apart. Lashley then gives him a smirk and steps aside and lets Roman proceed. He gets down, gets on the microphone. He says after this week, he could talk about a whole lot of stuff, but he's never had somebody stare him in the face and tell him to call him out. So he's curious about what Bob can do. And he calls out Bobby Lashley. So Bobby comes out, and he was not smiling. Thank goodness he was not. He gets in the ring, but then Angle and Corbin come running out, and Angle tells him it's not happening tonight. Save it for Sunday. They just stare at each other down, and then they just start brawling. And Angle calls the locker room and to pull apart. Of course, most of the time when we call the locker room, we see a few bigger names in there here and there. Most of it's just low card guys for some reason. I don't know why they do that. But of course, they break them apart several times. Though they Lashley and Reigns tried going at it again with each other. They kept getting broken apart, though. I mean, of course, the cool spot, though, is definitely whoever Reigns did that suicide dive, like, over the top rope on top of, like, the big crowd of dudes and whatnot. And, of course, they tried to hold him back up on the ramp, and he broke free and ran back down, tried to attack him again. And, he got a little more offense in there. So, I mean, I was comparing this brawl to, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar in 2015, which that was amazing. I mean, this was still a good brawl. Was not as good as that, of course. Like, it was a little bit weaker because It's, two guys who are not as big as Brock and Taker. Well, I mean Roman's not that much smaller than Brock, really, whatnot. But yeah, still, like it was like as talk and quick, hold off on them as it was then. But I did appreciate this because we've seen how many face on face feuds where it's like those two respect each other, and then they won't throw a punch until the till the pay-per-view comes, such as what they did with John Cena and Roman Reigns last fall. So I do appreciate that WWE did go out of their way to at least, have them get some type of physicality in there before the match on Sunday, which again, is probably gonna be the main event. But I still do believe these two put on a hell of a match on Sunday. So we got that opening segment. Of course, backstage, we have Alexa Bliss and Mickie James watching. And then they start laughing, saying, how that's not going to be nothing that they're going to beat up Nia Jackson and Mickie James tonight. And then we had a tag team match, Alexa Bliss and Mickie James taking on Natalya and Nia Jax. Match was all right for what it was. I mean, it's typical fashion, the heel and her random protege, which again, I don't still understand why Alexa Bliss and Mickie are teaming up. And against Nia Jax and Natalya, even though again that duo is still kind of weird because wasn't it Nia who injured Natalya whatnot a couple weeks ago? But what do we know? Match, I thought it was what it was. Natalya and Nia Jax at the win though after Nia hits a running leg drop on Mickie James. But as soon as the match ends, Alexa runs in the ring with a kendo stick and she starts beating down on Nia Jax, so that pretty much is implying, hey, this is extreme rule stipulation on Sunday, we're getting that. But then finally, after like 3 or 4 times when Alexa got Nia caught the kendo stick and Alexa just ran for her life, and Nia just snapped the stick over her knees. So we get the Extreme Rules on match on Sunday. I guess that's the only one we're getting. I mean, I don't know. I still not too crazy about having Nia. I mean, I'm for the idea of having a women's Extreme Rules match. That's awesome. But for Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, not sure if they can really pull it off. Give it a chance, though. I'm a guy who's open to giving people chances, like ours. So we'll see what happens this Sunday with the Extreme Rules match. Let's check the live chat. Tyson Kidd did the main event tonight. Anyways, whoever does Raw needs fired. I don't care who it is, fire them. That guy trolling you, Vince doesn't make those calls. That was a laugh. I truly feel that Roman is the heel in the feud, and they are turning him heel. They are doing the same thing they did with Bret Hart when they did the double turn at WrestleMania with Bret and Austin. I mean, again, I keep saying, I just want to wait and see what happens because they did kind of make me feel that way whenever they did the thing with Roman and Cena, but they didn't pull the trigger on that. Where Bret complained about being screwed time and time again, and that's what Roman was doing. Then Bret played hero, and that's what Roman is doing right now. And Lashley didn't smile once, and that is a record. Do you agree that they're going to have Roman lose to Lashley, and they can have Roman lose? You can't have Lashley eat a pin this early. I mean, I definitely agree, but I don't trust WWE. I mean, I'm still going to be rooting for Lashley on Sunday. I think he needs to win, of course, a lot more than Roman, but who knows what happens. How many finishes does Nia need? Are they going to have her do a moonsault next? They could have done Bayley versus Sasha in Extreme Rules match, which would have made more sense. Yeah, the whole thing about Bayley not being able to extreme, although she showed it recently also. They could have had that be an Extreme Rules match, but not throwing it on Alexa and Nia again. Who knows what will happen? We'll see. Continuing on here, we had a recap of what happened last week with Kevin Owens and the porta potty incidents. Not talk about that again. I mean, it was funny for what it was, but it was still, a little too corny. Then we see Nia walking backstage, and she runs into an interviewer, and she says that's a reminder that Alexa will try anything to wear her down, but it won't work, and she's going to snap her in half. Extreme Rules, trust her. She won't forget everything Bliss has done, the stories and the lies, and she's going to pay her back inch by and take her title back. And And then we have Kevin Owens rolling up to Kurt Angle in his office saying he's not filing a complaint for unsafe working environment or anything after what happened last week. He's going to be the bigger man, and he hands him a slip, which ends up being a doctor's note saying he's not able to compete tonight, but he's still here because that's what he's done. He's a professional. And he's going to hang out the one place he knows he's safe from Braun Strowman, which is Kurt Angle's office, which I'm sure that was a pain in the neck for Kurt Angle to deal with all night. We have Mojo Rawley taking on No Way Jose. Past 2 weeks, Mojo's come out pretty much just ripping on members of his Congo line for saying, you're trying to make yourself dress up like a cheeseburger or whatnot. Just ways to, pretty much the same promo for 2 straight weeks. Again, I keep saying, Mojo, I think, has good, promo abilities. I think he cuts them pretty well. But of course, this was probably an excuse just to, the past 2 weeks was an excuse just to stall this match and just fill up time. So we finally get the match. Mojo Rawley and No Way Jose. Mojo wins, cool with me, I guess. Again, as I keep saying, I do think Mojo deserves some opportunity. So gets the win. Maybe it'll lead him somewhere. Not too sure. But so yeah, he wins the Alabama Slam. Check the live chat. Alexa is doing something backstage. What do you mean she's doing something backstage? And hashtag Raw is porta potty. Last week's it was, not this week's. Is Jose a jobber now? I very much thought he was, because I still thought putting him on Raw was not the best idea. He pretty much is the new Adam Rose. I mean, I thought he had potential in NXT, but they brought him up. They weren't using him much for a while. Again, my thing was I was wondering, since Triple H made that comment about how there are some people who are more meant for the main roster than NXT, which one of them saying was Elias. I'm not sure if he thought that was the case for Jose, but if you thought that's not working so far, unfortunately. So, yeah, I guess you can say Jose kind of is a jobber. So we'll see what happens. This might have been just pointless filler time. Don't know. We had another thing with Sasha and Bailey in counseling, but this time it was the new therapist, not Dr. Shelby. And Bailey's mentioned that Sasha will only ever care about herself, pretty much. And then we see them have 2 more segments throughout the night. Didn't really hear anything they were saying at all. So there's probably another way just to stall this match, which at this point it's not happening Sunday, so it'll probably happen at SummerSlam, I guess. We'll see what happens. You have Seth Rollins walking backstage and he runs into Jinder Mahal and Sunil Singh, and Jinder says life is beautiful and should be embraced instead of burning it down, and tries to sell Seth on chanting his mantra pretty much, and Seth never thought about it that way, and maybe he's burning places of his soul, and asks Jinder to teach him. So Jinder starts in on his chant, and then yeah, Seth just slips away awkwardly. I'm like, yeah, I would do the same. I wouldn't even bother talking to Jinder. So Jinder's some random guy backstage. I would just breathing exercises. Don't care anymore. Anyway, so we have Seth making his entrance. He talks about all of his nicknames: Mr. Money in the Bank, Kingslayer, Architect, The Man, Monday Night Rollins. But him, the only one that matters right now is former Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins. But good news, he has an opportunity to change that, because he's going to be facing Dolph Ziggler one-on-one in a 30-man Iron Man match on Sunday. He loves testing himself against the absolute best, but the problem is he's going to bring that overgrown Scottish Wookiee Drew McIntyre with him, but he's still Seth freaking Rollins, and when it comes to the two of them, none of that matters. Ziggler and McIntyre come out. Dolph thanks Seth for the kind words, because people should talk about how good he is more often. But he's not just bringing his toughness, agility, good looks, and his giant psychopath McIntyre with him. He's also bringing a title, and don't think for 1 second he's leaving without it. McIntyre says it's not all bad. At least he still have his catchy little nicknames and a painful career-defining loss in which he got a glimpse of the future of this place. Ziggler says he's still Seth freaking Rollins, a man, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in the ring, but he's no Dolph Ziggler. When it comes to Extreme Rules, he might win, 5-0, 10-0, 100-0, and then Seth just cuts him off, and he starts saying this stuff again to his brain about how Dolph fumbles his replay. Of course, yeah, Dolph did a botch in his promo. He said that everything Rollins poured into the title made it feel sweeter in his hands, but here's the deal. You don't win an Iron Man match with any of that CrossFit nonsense. You win by racking up victory after victory, beating your opponent over and over until the scoreboard is filled up. Ziggler brings up how he had 121 victories in college and says, like, yay, congratulations. And how many of those did Drew help you with? McIntyre says where he's been doesn't matter. And then, but where he's going straight to the top in the Raw, and that's why he's taking orders from Dolph, letting him lead him around on a leash, and he doesn't understand. And then he's like, wait, no, Dolph has secrets. There are no photographs or anything like that. Pretty much started making jokes like, okay, you're going to suggest that there's a porno here or something that going on between them. I mean, it was a little goofy. It was strange, but, it worked. It was like for the humor and whatnot. And, of course, that kind of ticked off McIntyre. So McIntyre got hot, and Dolph holds him back before Rollins starts going at him more. Drew calls him out, and he wants to see what kind of man he really is, and he wants a match tonight. So Seth accepts the challenge and warns him to be careful because he's a bad man, which Drew goes to attack Rollins, and Rollins starts under him, and then he heads to the ramp to get away from the both of them. So it sets up for our main event later on tonight, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, and that was that. Oh yeah, Alexa's doing something to get all the opportunities she's getting. Vince is high on Alexa. I wonder why. Eye candy probably is gender turning face. He better not, because I don't give a shit at all whatsoever. Backstage we have Curtis Axel putting his Hardy wig on and gurning in the mirror. Bo Dallas rolls up as Bray Wyatt. Axel at first he really was Bray, but Bo says no, it's not. It's me. They get into the ring after commercial, and Axel says they'll dethrone delusional deleters of worlds at Rules of Extreme, which is taking Hardy saying like mower of lawns. I do that sometimes to say positive tries that day, but anyways, getting way off track here. They'll dethrone the delusional deleters of worlds at Rules of Extreme and become Raw Tag Team Champions. Bo pledges to devour their souls with one side of rice and beans, maybe even with avocado if it's in season. A little salt and pepper. It's going to be a buffet. And then the leaders of worlds appear in a smoky room. They've had enough enormous dialogue from them, and it's time for the fun and games to be over. And Wyatt laughs, saying that he is contagious and so is fear. The B team should have been effective, but they have the cure. Matt says they'll eat and delete them Extreme Rules, but Bray doesn't want to wait on account of them because they're here. So they appeared. We had a match with Bo Dallas and Matt Hardy. Match was whatever it was. And as usual, of course, the B team racked up another win because Bo Dallas gets the win with a screw neck whip after Matt was distracted when Axel and Bray brawled outside the ring or something like that. So Bo wins, and then but of course the leaders of worlds regrouped for a second. They got back into the ring. They beat up the B team, saying that's enough. So pretty much again the B team is playing this role of like low card guys who are just on like a winning streak and whatnot, which I think is being played very well. It looks like we're getting a final deletion match out of this, which whatever to me. I mean, if they're not going to do a final deletion match, say put this match on the pre-show pretty much. Because obviously, if the leaders of the world is going to win, the B team's just going to probably go back to catering again. So we had that happen. That's my for Sunday. And then we have Bobby Lashley interview backstage saying he has respect for everyone. He stepped into the ring for except for Roman. He doesn't like anything about Roman, not least that he keeps on bringing up what happened 10 years ago, but he does like that he wants to fight. And when he steps into the fight, Roman won't walk out. And he gets into the microphone again and says, believe that. And we have something with Tyler Breeze backstage offering a makeover of the fashion T-shirts to Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. And they ripped them up again because, we have to see them randomly spaz out for no reason at all whatsoever. Don't know why. And then we see a handy cam promo of Alexa Bliss talking about how great it felt to hear the stick hitting Nia's flesh over and over again. This was just a small taste of what she's saving for Sunday, and that rookie Ronda will be sitting at ringside to see her and Jax for good. And then Ronda's probably coming right after Alexa Bliss, probably dethroning her for the women's title, or the Raw Women's title at SummerSlam, probably. Which again, I'd rather see Nia and Alexa than Nia. Ronda and Alexa than Nia and Ronda. But so we'll see how that goes down. And then, oh gosh, we had a rematch from last week. Ember Moon and Liv Morgan of the Riot Squad. How many more weeks are we going to have these pointless matches with the Riot Squad? Why are they always upset? They look weak all the time, as I've said. They have they're no threat at all. They're just girls just try to act tough. All they do is lose. I really don't care, and especially Liv Morgan. She's nothing. She really is nothing. The match happens. Same stuff usually happens with Ember Moon. Overcoming the obstacles. I mean, Ruby Riot's not there because of her knee injury. But Sarah Logan tries to distract. Ember Moon didn't work, and then Ember just easily got like a jackknife cover to pin Liv Morgan for the victory. Cool. I don't really care. I wasn't paying attention in the match at this point. Then we see Finn Balor smiling outside of his locker room again, because Finn Balor has to smile all the time. Doesn't have to always smile. And he's about to be interviewed. He starts to answer him, but Bobby Roode rolls up and says they're cut from the same cloth. Both good looking, good hair, great abs, no stop on the ring. Constable Corbin can say what he wants, but when it's time to perform in the ring, nobody's better than Finn Balor. When it's all said and done, they're going to be not glorious, but victorious. Since it was mentioned, though, by Renee Young, yes, they're going to be glorious. And Finn says it's funny that Corbin thinks he's the brains of the operation when all said and done, and going around telling people Balor is half as big, tough, and strong, but he's not half of anything. He's twice as good, and he and Bobby could talk all night about how tough they are, but they like to do their talking in the ring, pretty much, as they say. Live chat. Let's see here. Rollins is funny. I mean, we did see Dolph and Drew in a motel with their shirts off together. That's awkward. I guess Matt is a jobber now. I guess so, but probably not after this B team stuff ends. Sid Henry says STH sucks. Don't know what you mean by that. Sorry. I hope Lashley brings back his old finisher Sunday on Roman and hits the Dominator and inverted power slam, which is a power slam, but they land on their face and stuck with the power slam. Sound like a good move. Do you think Shinsuke is going to lose to Styles tomorrow? I think Rusev will interfere, and it'll be Rusev and Nakamura versus Styles and Hardy, because Jeff will come out and save Styles. If Road Dogg's writing the show, then that's probably what's going to happen. So, good bold prediction there. Then we once again have Kurt Angle shown in his office to Kevin Owens, and he's spraying air freshener, and he's just nagging Angle to get some plants. Angle suggests it's leftover stink from last week, and Ziggler and McIntyre roll in, and Kurt asks stipulation that if Drew McIntyre loses the main event against Seth Rollins, he'll be banned from ringside Extreme Rules. And then Owens will start getting on Angle about favoritism. Dolph agrees, at which McIntyre says Rollins isn't making it through this mountain tonight. We have Elias in the ring. He starts playing us his song, saying how it's been a while, 2 weeks since his last performance, and he knows that feels like a lifetime, but he does everything for a reason. And he's been in a studio recording his debut album. It's real, it's happening. It's because of the universal truth that, of course, W stands for Walk with Elias. He wants to do a song talking about how Rude and Balor have personality of a toilet seat, and Boston being a terrible city. He has to stop due to the booze, and since his friend Tom Brady told him to do like he does and pretend to like them, but he can't do it anymore, and he chooses to introduce Constable Corbin. Corbin comes out, gets on the microphone, and says, people, yes, this part, I wanted to forget about this. He basically comes out, and he wants to sing a lullaby for Finn Balor. which he already botched that. And then he asks him to play a certain song, and he starts singing a parody of the Itsy Bitsy Spider to talk about Finn Balor. Why? Whoever wrote that, you should be fired. I mean, if I knew what your name was, I'd put you on the list if you haven't been put on the list already. Really, the Itsy Bitsy Spider, you're booking this guy to pretty much be one of the more powerful men on Raw because of him being now the constable all of a sudden. But you have him singing a parody of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Very awful, very not well done. So that's what we're getting hit with. Probably my least favorite part of the show. I would much rather sit through that stupid Liv Morgan and Ember Moon match again than listen to that horrible segment with the singing of Baron Corbin to the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And then Finn and Bobby come out. We have the match. Constable Corbin and Elias taking on Bobby Roode and Finn Balor. The match wasn't too bad. It had some of its, close near falls and a little more exciting action towards the end. I know Dakota said this, and I was starting to agree as well. I thought maybe they would consider maybe turning Bobby Roode heel in this match, especially after the promo we cut backstage. Like, they said something about how, Bobby, how Finn Balor, did that vicious coup de grace style bought him at Money in the Bank, so I thought maybe they were just bringing that up just to, start planting the seeds for a Bobby Roode heel turn, but it didn't happen tonight. Corbin, though, gets the victory over Finn Balor and Bobby Roode when he hit Corbin hit Bobby Roode with the End of Days. So, yeah, we got that. Now we're having a match on Sunday between Corbin and Balor, which I still don't feel is a pay-per-view worthy match. The story is not really that strong at all. So we're getting it. Whatever. It could still be a good match. We'll see what happens. Then in Angle's office again, we have Owens eating a sandwich, and he offers Kurt a bite, but he turns it down. And then Braun Strowman comes in, and then Owens gets up and just hides behind Angle. Angle tells him to relax, and he's saving the match for Sunday, which he's going to make it a steel cage. Braun asks what he smells, and he pulls out air freshener before moving on Owens and telling him he reeks of fear, and he sprays Owens with the freshener, and he just starts choking and gagging on it pretty much. So we got the match set for Sunday. Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman inside of a steel cage. Just a way to get Braun on the card, especially with how Owens was trying to take him out before Money in the Bank. Even though I will be honest, they've had Braun coming out on top every single time, but he's probably going to win Sunday to give him momentum as Mr. Money in the Bank. Get that. We have Dakota saying he meant Seth sucks. Oh geez. And Elias is awesome. He is. I didn't like he talked about Tom Brady. That's why you're a Patriots fan. He's joking about saying first he liked his Spider, but he didn't. Put Vince on the list again. I don't even feel like it. Roode's turning heel slowly. Again, I think he does need the heel turn. W usually has a big name face lose a lot when they are going to turn them. I mean, Bobby Roode, he's a big name, but he hasn't been treated like a big deal as a baby face right now. So, he definitely, has the seeds to be planted at the heel turn. They got to pull the trigger and just do it, I feel. And then we have Roman Reigns backstage being interviewed, saying he did exactly what he wanted today. He didn't have any respect for Lashley until he saw the fire in his eyes, but he's going to need more than that to win on Sunday. He's got a killer instinct, doesn't care about Bobby's physical tools. He's going to beat him and move on to bigger and better, while Lashley is the guy somewhere else, pretty much. They go over to Extreme Rules Card Network, and then we have our main event, Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. Of course, Dolph Ziggler's corner. Again, the stipulation is if Drew McIntyre loses the match, he is banned from ringside in the Iron Man match at Extreme Rules for your Intercontinental Championship. This is definitely a dream match of mine. I thought that maybe they were going to build this up to be like a pay-per-view match at SummerSlam, since it doesn't look like Seth's going to be getting a championship opportunity for the Universal title at least anytime soon, unless if he beats Dolph on Sunday. Well, yeah, he definitely could, but I'm not sure where we're going to go with this Intercontinental Championship run for Dolph Ziggler and whatnot. Um, but I thought McIntyre and Rollins worked very well together. The match started off a little slow, but it slowly picked up. And then, of course, towards the end, we had Ziggler kind of like trying to get into the ring. Rollins curb stomps him, but he turns around and walks right into McIntyre's Claymore for him to get the win to see, keep McIntyre going strong, as I'm pretty sure by the end of the year, if not early next year, he will be a strong main eventer on the red brand for Monday Night Raw, right? The spot where he should have been when he was around before, but unfortunately he was not. He was a member of 3MB with Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. Hey, again, Jinder Mahal was WWE champion. At least, McIntyre went out of his way and got better and whatnot. So that's what we know there. And that's pretty much it for this episode of Raw. Again, guys, I'm sorry I kind of flew through this. Again, rough day. I'm really tired. But let's see what we got in the live chat here. Anything else from Dakota? I'd like to see a heel Rude versus a face Elias. Would be interesting. I mean, the roles reversed. That was meh. I really thought maybe we could get a heel Rude versus Finn Balor. Maybe also we can do so. But hopefully the heel turn, it will help at least make Bobby Roode's character more interesting. Again, he's pretty much just another Miz as a heel. He's nothing too fancy in the ring, but he's great on a microphone. He's entertaining. So I feel like that's why he should definitely go back to being a heel again, because his heel promos are definitely a lot more worth watching. He thinks WWE should have made Lashley versus Roman a #1 contenders match, and I think that is what they're hinting at, isn't it? And Rollins should go to SmackDown Live. He probably should, I feel, at this point. I mean, I thought he was going to the Superstar Shakeup, but he didn't. But yeah, I feel like either way, Lashley's and Reigns match is going to be treated like a #1 contenders match, I guess. So, but I'll go over the polls real quick here. We'll watch up for another minute or two. What grade would you give this episode of Raw? 4 votes. 1 said A, 2 said B, nobody said C, and 1 said D or lower. I was back and forth between my grade, either B minus, C plus, or whatnot. I went to C plus. It's a decent show. I mean, the only 2 things I thought were really good was the brawl and the main event I enjoyed, but everything else was okay for what it was. Dakota said I have a match, Rollins versus Styles. They are by far the best wrestlers in history. That's one of my dream matches I want to see. Definitely Styles, and Rollins. They could put on a hell of a match. Dakota gave Raw a B minus. Also, I gave it a C plus. Again, I almost gave it a B minus, but didn't think it quite made that caliber. But I'll give it a C plus still. So thank you again, Dakota, for joining me in the live chat, guys. So great what you guys do this episode of Monday Night Raw. Leave thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, sure to click by like and subscribe more content to come to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBrownie3. I'll be back up here live tomorrow, hopefully in a better mood, a lot more live than I am now. To review SmackDown Live. I'll be 205 Live in NXT on Wednesday. I'll get the top 10 topic show recorded for the month of June. July up sometime this week. Also, special live stream probably on Thursday, and then of course Sunday's Extreme Rules. I expect to see some photos when because again I will be in attendance live this Sunday. So I mean, despite being decent, could have been better episode of Raw. I still am looking forward to Extreme Rules. I think that has potential to be a good show. I think, Lashley and Reigns could deliver a good match. I think Ziggler and Rollins will have a show-stealing Iron Man match. I can't wait to see. Their stuff should be pretty good. So we'll see what happens with Extreme Rules on Sunday. But as I said, guys, I'm checking out. I'm tired. I'm cleaning up and I'm going to bed. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out, everybody.